everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's gonna be a version of this. Let me do a couple things really fast. Bum, bum, bum. Maybe. Let's see here. Um, yes, yes, yes. And there we go. Welcome to Broadcaster Booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Yes, you're looking at a piece of my artwork on my shirt. And it is July 1. Welcome to July, everybody. This year is it going by fast or is it just creeping through? I don't know. I just remember everybody talking about January and how long of a year it was for January. And a bunch of big whiny babies is all I can think of. So, that's all I can think of. But yeah, it is now July 1. So if you're one of those that have been waiting for July, it is here. It is now. It is. I don't know what I'm looking for. But anyway. All right. So, what are you guys doing for July? I know 4th of July is right around the corner. What are you going to be doing? You going to be shooting off fireworks? Going to be going and watching fireworks? You doing cookouts? What you going to be doing? Maybe other people want to join you. What do you think? Are you in the giving mood to let people join you for 4th of July? Well, major stuff that happens, of course, you've got 4th of July. You got Bastille Day. You got Parents' Day. And then you got National Disability Independence Day, which happens the 26th, towards the end of the month. Hello, Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth, my friend. Month-long celebrations include National Ice Cream Month, National Hot Dog Month, Roy's favorite, and National Grilling Month. So there you go. That's what happens all month long during this time of year in July. You've also got Outdoor Heritage, which is designated by the National Parks and Recreation as a National Picnic Month. So, you know, if you want to go out there and see Yogi Bear. Oh, let's see. Sports. Nobody wants to talk about Wimbledon. Tour de France. If you're into cycling, yeah, congratulations. Local festivities or festivals. The annual National Cherry Festival. There you go. In Michigan. There you go. The Cherry Festival of Michigan. And then, of course, this time of year, you got the space and science and space, which includes the Buck Moon, which is the full moon, is traditionally named the Buck Moon by Native American tribes. And then you've got the meteor shower that happens mid July. The Delta Aquarids meteor shower kicks off in mid July. So there you go. So in the middle of the month, we get to watch a meteor shower. So that's always exciting and cool. So there you go. That is your July happenings. So for those of you that just joined the show and have never been here before, what we do here is we talk about horror movies, science fiction movies, classic movies back from the 1800s to present. We talk about comic books, comic book artwork. We talk about comic book movies. We talk about my artwork. We talk about my comic books and things of that nature. But we also talk about real life issues here as well. Being a disabled veteran, I get to talk to other veterans and other people that go through issues and things like that. That's why I have the prevention hotline on my other recorded channel that I send out to my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube channel, and all of that good stuff. And if you are struggling, which was Men's Mental Health Awareness last month, then you can dial 988, or that's the text or call. Well, And then the call number is 1-800-273-8255. Now, with that being said, talking about a mental case, Roy, who's not here right now, he could be sleeping or he could still be on restriction. His restriction ends today, so he should be back. We should be back to seeing his shenanigans once again um, on the channel, as long as he's awake, that is. Because sometimes he's become a night owl, and this is about the time he's going to bed after he smothered his food in ketchup and mayonnaise. So, sorry, I still got sleep in my eyeballs. Oh man, it's been a long week already. Because why? Why, you ask? Thank you for asking. Because I've been tearing down, demolitioning buildings. Uh, Japanese cars or American cars? That's a good question. Because I like my American muscle when it comes to Chevys, especially the older stuff from the 50s through the end of the 70s. Japanese cars just cost too much to fix most of the time. And that's why I like my American muscle. Especially a good 72 Chevelle or a 1957 Chevy, fully restored. Those are two great cars. And then in the trucks, the 1958 Chevy pickup and the 1988 Scottsdale. Great trucks. Great body styles as well. I'm not a Ford guy, so Found on Road Dead. No, can't do that. I do drive a Dodge, unfortunately, but it's been a decent truck so far. It's just a work truck, so it ain't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Hopefully, it was at the end of a sentence. No, Found on Road Dead is Ford. Toyota depreciate in value as soon as you drive it off the lot more than any other vehicle out there. So don't get a Toyota. I know they make some decent vehicles, but if you want to resell it later, the depreciation drops tremendously. How do I know this? Because I've seen people on TikTok that are dealership owners or they work for a dealership and they talk about the vehicles. So, whatever. You can go talk to them. Don't talk to me. I'm taking their information. So, Toyota sucks. There you go. I'm not a Toyota guy either. I'm traditionally 100% Chevy. All the way, especially the old stuff. Could care less about any of the other vehicles out there. But if that's what you like and that's what you're into, that's your choice. But I'm just listening to the people that actually work in the industry uh, and tell you what vehicles to avoid if you don't want to be upside down while you're trying to sell it later. So there you go. And Toyota is one of those ones that they tell you to avoid. But don't take it from me. Go find one of them on TikTok and listen to them because they're everywhere. And everybody has their opinions on the vehicles that they love, that they hate. That's what they wouldn't drive. Oh, look, Roy is here. We were just talking about you, buddy. Your restriction has ended, huh? Now, don't do any more shit posting on other people's posts and you won't get banned for, 10 days or whatever the fuck it was. And that's why you get banned, dude. You shit post. Good morning, Stephanie. Sorry. That went too quick. Chevy is garbage. Okay, whatever. Well, you enjoy your Japanese vehicles. I will keep my American muscle. And I don't need a rice burner. Sorry. Even my motorcycle is American muscle. So, Honda Goldwing GL 1000, 1000 horsepower between your legs. There you go, buddy. Harley is up there too. They just make loud vehicles, motorcycles when it comes to that. So, right, so I've been demolishing buildings for the past 3 days, longer than that, actually. 3 days straight is what I've been doing. Well, you enjoy your rice burners. I'm happy that you enjoy them. I don't have to enjoy them. My opinion is my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. They're not always going to be right, and your opinion isn't right when it comes to vehicles. My opinion isn't right according to you when it comes to vehicles. So just move along. We're good. I'll keep my American muscle 100%. And so I'm going back out today to con- continue tearing down this building right there. That's the new stuff. I'm talking about American muscle. I'm not talking about the new shit that comes out today. All right. Well, I'm glad it never happens with Toyota. Again, keep your shitty Japanese vehicles. I could care less. And so I'm going back out there today. Going to be demolishing more of the building. I'm almost done. I'm getting the rafter joist pieces off that held the tin. I brought all the tin home yesterday, for the most part, except for 3 pieces that are still in the ground. And I've got it to demolition the post to get those off. Plus, I had to contend with and this home, which was unfortunate, about 8 different red wasp nests. I am not a fan of red wasp, period. Just because of the incident that happened as a child when I was about 8 years old. We were playing hide and seek from my cousin, and we crawled into the porch of my grandparents' house, and she couldn't find us, so she got angry and started stomping really hard on the front porch. And lo and behold, there was a red wasp nest right above our heads, and we didn't know it. Well, one of those red wasps got agitated because we were right there as we're laughing, because she can't find us. And it lights on my head and just starts digging in with its stinger. It never stung me, it just started digging in with its stinger. Well, I come running out of there swatting my head. It finally did sting me, because I did swat it. And so I haven't been a fan of red wasps ever since. So I had to this home 8 different nests yesterday, and I've still got one that's still hanging around that I've got to dishome before I can continue on the back side of this building to get the chicken wire off and the plastic down and all that good stuff. So, and Chevy is gold, especially the American Muscle Chevy back in the 50s through the 70s. So you can keep your trash. And so now I'm almost done with that project, which means I can start my projects back here at the homestead. But it's been a whirlwind on all of that. It is, just one little thing after another. So I stepped on a screw yesterday that was in a board, and that was fun. So it's going to make climbing up on top of the building a little bit more entertaining, if you will. And up on my tetanus shots, we're all good there. So, again, it is July 1, the whole start of a new month. What are you guys looking forward to? I know that Roy is looking to the hot dog month. His favoriteest thing, hot dogs. But it is National Grilling Month, so I got to get out there and do some more grilling. But the other factor is now the heat index is getting up to 105 to 112 degrees here in Arkansas. So that's the fun portions of it all. And again, dude, go somewhere else, really, because you're not making a point. You're talking about today's technology. I'm talking about 1950 to 1970s. Big difference. All right. So I'm sure there's a ton of acronyms for your Japanese rice eating vehicles that you love so much. I mean, you probably drive a freaking hybrid or you drive a an EV car, you know, to save the pollutions. No emissions. No emissions is good emissions, which they do different emissions, but you know, we're done with that subject. You enjoy your Japanese cars. Not everybody likes Japanese cars. Just like we don't like rice burning motorcycles. Okay? I'm glad you drive a Tacoma. Congratulations. I'm glad you're a red blooded American that loves Japanese vehicles. And Chevy will always be tops to me. See, again, difference of opinions doesn't matter. You like your rice burners, which is cool. And you probably love watching dubbed movies too. I mean, I don't know. Those good old classic kung fu fighting movies where they dubbed in all of the words in English, you know, as you're watching their mouth move, and then the words come out. Those were fun movies to watch. They still are to this day. While they're eating their rice, and Chevy is still number one. All right. Boom, boom, boom. I gotta find all that stuff today. All right. So, but I've been doing a lot of stuff. Picked up some birthday presents for the girlfriend. Her birthday is this month. My son's, who passed away back in 2009, his birthday is in a few days, the 8th. Her birthday is 2 days later on the 10th. And we picked up two more kayaks from one of our wood pile pickups. We are sure she knew about them. We were going to get them a long time ago, but decided to go ahead and wait till this month to go ahead and get them while we were helping clean up this person's property of firewood and free chicken coop material and things of that nature. And so picked them up yesterday, brought them home, got them emptied out of the water, the one of them that had water inside of it. And so now we've got three kayaks. We got two that are the sit on top of type, and then we got the one that where you sit inside, where you can go, you know, whitewater rafting and all that good stuff, um, like you see people do, that flip over in it and all that good stuff, do the little tricky tricks and stuff like that. So now we've got to get two more oars for the other two kayaks, and then we can take all three out, you know, 100%. And honor, same to you. And so that's going to be fun. We just got to find some river areas, and then we've got plenty of ponds and things like that, little lakes and things like that that we can take it out on, just to give them a test drive, make sure that they don't, you know, leak like a sieve because they look pretty sound. Even the one we bought at Goodwill, we stopped in a Goodwill one day and found a 18-foot kayak for like 34 bucks, I think it was. And those things run close to two, almost 300 bucks, especially that one. Uh, oh, you're welcome. No problem there. And don't forget to get your V8 Energy Peach Mango, best flavor that they've got. Right there, they need to be my spokesperson. You guys need to lobby them to be my spokesperson right there because it is the best flavor they've got. The rest of them taste like shit, to be honest, 100%. Because it tastes too chemically on their stuff, on their other stuff. Has a nasty back taste to it once you're done drinking it, and it's very chemically tasting. This one is really well done, really well mixed. So V8 Energy is the best place to be. So so now we've got three kayaks, and yeah, just to find one for 34 bucks at a Goodwill was pretty cool. We just walked in and we went to our sections that we always go to, and boom, lo and behold, there was this huge kayak sitting in the middle of their floor. I was like, okay, sold. So we pulled the sticker off. So I went and talked to them. They're like, yeah, just pull the sticker off, and you know. what was my last duty station? That was Afghanistan. Well, technically, I was a trainer till the time I went out of the military after we got back from Afghanistan. Afghanistan was my overseas mission from 2006 to 2007, 17-month deployment. Air cheers, man. Air cheers. And 2 deployments under my belt. Um, Technically, a bunch of deployments because once I got on active duty orders in 2007 until 2010 when I got out, I was on active duty orders the entire time. So, I love you too, man. Like I said, you're American through and through, and it doesn't matter if you enjoy your cars like that. You do. It really doesn't. It doesn't bother me 100%. So, were you in the military? I'm gonna. I mean, I'm not. People can read your name. It's all good. It's a great name, by the way, and you got a good personality with that name out there. So, and if you did serve, um, okay, Fort Bragg guy. Okay, cool, cool. I share my name. Yes, you share it every time someone walks down an aisle and they're like, "What the fuck was that?" On the first part, or the second part. Well, I guess it could be the first and the second part of that one. So, but yeah. Well, I appreciate your service as well. I followed in my grandfather's footsteps because he was 45th Infantry, um, 45th all the way, Thunderbirds, right there, 11 Bravo. Did see combat while we were in Afghanistan. Do have my CIB, Combat Infantry badge, if you don't know what that means. And I was Fort Benning, Georgia. You know, that's where I did my train up, which sucks. Sand Hill, 100%. That was my basic training. And about this type of heat, 110 degrees most days, because it was summer when I went to basic training. It was not pleasant, to say the least. In fact, we did have one guy die on an obstacle course, and we had a lot of people fall out from heat stroke and things like that during our time at basic training. So, and there we go. We got our live restriction. Hold on, what is this one for? But I did not tell anybody to go buy my merchandise, but I will now. Cool. Awesome. We were going to do the airborne side, but it was going to take us nearly 3 extra months just to get a slot. So all of us that received our airborne were like, no, we're going home. And they were like, okay. And so everybody turned in their little papers that said, hey, we're going to airborne. After, especially after we found out that it was going to take 3.5, almost 4 months, if I remember correctly, of just sitting there doing whatever cadre wanted us to do, which would have been okay because we would have been getting paid. But we were like, no, we've got civilian lives because we're National Guard. But I ended up being active duty the whole time. So I never saw my 1 weekend a month and 2 weekends out of the year like everybody else because I was on active duties the entire time. But again, I appreciate your service 100%. And this is the time, with 4th of July coming around. Uh, that does bother a lot of veterans, especially if you saw any action overseas. Because I remember my first 4th of July back, I was out and about, had my son and my nephew in the back seat. I was taking my nephew back to his mom's house because the nephew liked to stay with us and play with our kids and stuff like that. Okay, cool, awesome, awesome. Yeah, we're the ones that get deployed first. Well, I'm driving down this back road to Little Axe from Shawnee, or was it Noble at the time? I can't remember. One of the two. But anyway, all of a sudden I see lights in the sky, flares, is what I thought. So my mind, because I was just freshly back from Afghanistan, and my mind just went straight back into combat mode. And I'm looking for contact. Is basically what I'm doing. I'm locked down because I'm seeing these flares in the sky, and actually it was just fireworks. Evan, gotcha, man. I'm Monty, by the way, if you didn't know. Look you up on Google? Okay. Sounds like a plan, man. And so immediately my mind went to combat mode. And it took me a good probably 3 or 4 miles down the road to realize, hey, you're not in Afghanistan anymore. As I'm looking in the rearview mirror, a Humvee doesn't have a rearview mirror. Ours didn't anyway. And I'm seeing two kids in the back seat, my nephew and my son. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Where am I at? Had to get my mind straight, because going from a combat situation in Afghanistan to civilian life was not registering with me at that moment because I thought they were doing signal flares, trying to get our location, all that good stuff, and then I'm right back in the moment. And so, I had to change my mindset really quick because then I had to calm myself down, all that stuff, the rest of the ride. And it was just like, okay, we're good, we're good. And so, but yeah, no, Afghanistan was fun. Those of you that have never been to a foreign country like that before, highly recommend it. 100%. So that's my little PTSD story from coming back from Afghanistan to transitioning back into civilian life. And and now I do illustrations and I do homesteading as a disabled veteran. You know, yeah, it is nuts. I mean, transitioning. Were you deployed as well? And if you were, where were you deployed? L is Liz. L is usually here. She's probably off at the gym right now, but she's an MP. She's new to the game, and she's already been deployed to Syria. So okay, you were in Iraq. All right, cool. Erbil. Yeah, we were in Kabul in Afghanistan, or Kabul, however you want to say it. Kabul, Kabul. We were right in downtown Kabul, and that was fun. Especially being Sec 4 outside the wire pretty much every day, taking trucks from point A to point B. So it's Erbil, Erbil, Erbil. Just some of the names over there. Like in Afghanistan, you have Jalalabad. Try not to laugh when you're saying that one as you're going. Hey, we're going to Jalalabad. Oh yeah, but we hit every fob that we could. We took the command sergeant major and his right hand man um, around to every fob to visit the troops. So, and that's when we got into our firefight and got hit with the IED and all that good stuff. Oh, I got you. I got you. Now going down south in Afghanistan, it's kind of like hitting some parts of the country around here because there's a lot more water and it's a lot more humid. But in Kabul or Kabul, however you want to say it again, um, very dry heat because there's not much greenery running around, being in the middle of a desert. And when I say it snows for days. Because in the middle of winter, we got probably about 4 to 5 foot of snow in the desert. Yes, in the desert. And it was very treacherous, you know, driving on ice and snow in a Humvee, an up armored Humvee at that. Not even the good rhinos. I would rather have had a rhino going through that than the up armored Humvee. So, but we were there, had fun. Dirty place, 100%. Especially when they tell you that 76% of the air matter is fecal matter. That's a joy. And you've got to get tested for TB before you go into the country, while you're in country, and as you're leaving country. And when you get demobed at your demob station. So you get poked and prodded for TB on a regular basis. Well, we were looking for Toyota Corollas. funny thing was, that was pretty much every car in Afghanistan was Toyota Corollas. So when they told us to be on the lookout for a white Toyota Corolla, we were like, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that. We're surrounded by about 20 of them. So you need to be a little bit more specific than a white Toyota Corolla. Because if one of these is what you're saying it is, we're fucked. Absolutely 100%. So, yeah, that was always our laughing point because they would always give us a description of a Toyota Corolla, and we would see 20 or 30 of them driving down the road, and we're like, yeah, please be advised that we're looking at the potential right now. Don't know which one you're looking for. You're gonna have to give us a license plate or a better description of what's on the Corolla. So, so yeah, to your point, Afghanistan loves Toyota. So there you go. There's somebody that loves it on a regular basis. Nah, you're good. You're good. But no, life in Afghanistan was fun, especially to live in a cell. The bee huts that we lived in, we had, let me just count, two, four, six, eight, 10 people inside of one bee hut. Literally, I could do this. That was my living conditions for a year. That's how wide my room was. My arm width, whatever that is, was I could touch wall to wall. I had a bunk bed that I took the lower section off and turned it into my game room, if you will, my cleaning station. That's where I cleaned my weapon. That's where I had my computer. Up top, I had a little shelf with a little TV and my GameCube on the bed section because the bed was up top. I was about this close to the ceiling, you know, all that good stuff. Well, I'm glad you guys had something that was like that because we had the up armored Humvee, and that was a pain in the ass, especially the AC that didn't work in the humid heat. So I'm glad you guys had some. You either had the doors off or you had the AC going, one of the two. Um, Ours just blew warm air around inside the truck, which was awesome, especially when you're in full battle rattle. And yeah, it was not enjoyable because you would pull your IBAS off whenever you got done with mission, and you're just wet where the IBAS was, you know, front and back, just because of all that sweat just hanging around because it had nowhere to go. So that I mean, it's fun times. I wouldn't trade it again. Now, like I've said before, many a times that I would do it out of high school instead of joining at 33 years old when I did, um, because at that point in time it was like, for diplomatic reasons, zero threat, chill. That's awesome. I mean, I'm glad you had that kind of a deployment. Um, Ours was supposed to be that way, but we had all kinds of stuff happen. I even got my 5 minutes of fame. We had to go secure an embassy, uh, Blackwater. You know, they don't talk about Blackwater much anymore, but it was their special security force that was running people from the embassy and things like that that got hit with a VBED, vehicle borne explosive, for those of you that know. And I got my 5 minutes of fame on Yahoo News. Um, I'm securing one section, got my rifle up, all that good stuff. Got my goggles up on my helmet because I couldn't see, all that good stuff because they were starting to fog up. And next thing we know, first sergeant's calling our sergeant. He's like, "Why doesn't Anderson have his protective gear on?" And he's thinking to himself, and he told me this later. He's like, "How does he know he doesn't have his protective gear up? He can't see us from the FLIR camera. We're too far out. He can't see us from any type of camera from there because we're way too far out." And he's like, Well, it's fogging up on him, so he couldn't see. And how do you know he doesn't have it on anyway? He goes, well, I'm sitting here looking at Yahoo News, and I'm looking right at his face. So somebody took a picture from the crowd, and it hit Yahoo News pretty quick. And my face was the face plastered everywhere, for a hot minute. I still use that picture on occasion on my socials every now and again. So that was fun. I mean, yeah, it does make you a little weary while you're in the country because that just put a face to the American over there and the white devil, as they called us. And so it does make you a little weary whenever you go outside the wire. Are you recognized and all that good stuff? And as people are sneering at you and looking at you, like, well, are they looking at that article, or they just hate us that much? Because there would be some days you're rolling outside the wire that they love you. They're giving you a thumbs up. They're waving at you, all this stuff. The next day they're giving you the thumbs up, and they're throwing rocks at your vehicle and stuff like that. And so like, what the fuck just happened overnight? We didn't do anything. But yeah, no, Afghanistan was fun, and like I said, the only thing I would have done different was I would have joined out of high school instead of joining at 33 years of age when people are mostly retiring from the National Guard. After they've done their 20 plus years of service. So that's the only thing I would have changed. But I did follow again my grandfather's footsteps because he was 45th Infantry in Germany in World War II and Korea. Of course, he did what a lot of people did. Oh, that's cool. I mean, at least you got the college under your belt for that. What'd you major in? What'd you minor in? What did you master in? Are you going for a masterate? Or are you going for a doctorate? If you write a book, you can become a doctor. Make that make sense. Political science, gotcha. I figured it would have been like criminal justice or something like that, but political science works too. My youngest daughter was going to be a marine biologist until she got to the science portion of college, and she decided it wasn't for her at that point in time because she didn't like science as much as she thought she did. She still loves animals, from what I understand, but so she changed her major. So, colossal waste of money. Yeah, when you can just jump on social media and you got your political science right there on 100%. It's an experiment in science on a regular basis. Or you can just pull up Google and be like, okay, what do I need to learn today? Um, just don't go to Wikipedia because that stuff changes on a regular basis, and they have contributors that shouldn't be contributors that change shit on profiles and things like that that have to get fact checked and all that shit. So yeah, but most people will tell you college is a colossal waste of money for the most part, especially those that have gone through it. Unless you're in a specific degree industry, if you will. And then even people at McDonald's have degrees and they're flipping burgers or would you like fries with that? Which is the sad state of the U.S. in of itself. Because if you look at other countries, when someone gets a degree, they usually get a good job. Not so much here, uh, which is unfortunate for those of the college world that are going to college to better themselves. Especially when you find out that, you know, content creators make more than what most people make in the corporate world. And I worked in the corporate world for a long, long time. I mean, hell, I was in the corporate world when I was like 9 years old. I was getting paid cash for pulling weeds out of sand and dirt piles, and helping tend the yard and stuff like that at a construction company, basically, materials company, because they handled, um, sand and gravel and dirt and stuff like that, topsoil and all that good stuff. And that was their business, materials manufacturing, and you're a paper boy, let's see. So you've got the work ethic going on. as do I. And I've been working pretty much my entire life until now. I mean, I'm still working, but it's much more enjoyable since I don't have to punch a time clock. I mean, yeah, I'm usually up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and some people can't wrap their minds around that. And just like I had a debate with a guy on a person's page because she posted that she worked 18 hours, you know, and and I was kidding her because I was like 18 hours. That's rookie numbers. I'm usually working 20 hours, in a day. And this dude pops on my comment and he's like, "That's not even possible." And I'm like, "Huh? It's not possible." I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed. I get in bed about 10 o'clock at night most nights, but I usually don't fall asleep until about 11. So you do that math because at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in my office doing artwork, which right now I've got about 6 commissions that I'm working on. And then once sunup happens, then the chores start happening for the animals. I've got to let the chickens out. I've got to get the littles out to the yard, which is my little chickens and little geese. And then I've got to feed the pigs. I've got to feed the dogs. I've got to feed the cats. Free range the chickens, the ducks, and the geese that are the big ones in the big main coop. Then I head out to demo these buildings that I'm doing. Then I get home, eat a little bit, and then I'm usually going somewhere else to pick something up that's free or that I didn't pay much for, such as firewood, because winter is coming. Game of Thrones reference. And at 7 o'clock at night is the last feeding for the birds, and then we can chill, eat dinner, all that good stuff. But I'm still not going to sleep until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And he was like, every day for. I said, I've been doing this since I stopped working in the corporate world. I work more now than I did when I worked for Wally World, as asset protection. And he's like, I said, but since it's not you, and you don't do that, it can't be done, right? He shut up after that because we were bantering back and forth on her page for a hot minute. But it was just funny because she was like, I do this all the time, work 18-hour shifts. And I feel for her because in that 18-hour shift, she only made $32 in tips, which is not great for 18-hour shift. I'm not sure which organization she works for, but I think I saw Sonic on her shirt at one point in time. But to get $32 in tips, that sucks. Oh, absolutely 100% more purpose now because I'm making money for myself. I'm not making money for a corporation that, is $1 trillion corporation worldwide when it comes to all of their businesses combined, from neighborhood market to Walmart to their hometown stores to everything else that they've incorporated or acquired in a buyout or whatever. And they're $1 trillion corporation that pay their employees shit. Let's just be real. Walmart does not pay their employees enough for the shit that they deal with. Because every employee could be making 25 bucks an hour and Walmart would be fine. Yes, they've changed the minimum wage at Walmart, all all that good stuff. They pay them better than most people do on minimum wage. So I think you start out at 10 something an hour, which doesn't even give you living wages in today's society, in today's economy. Let's put it that way. Any economy in the past 10 years, the living wages aren't catching up with what we have to pay out. And so even at $25 an hour, you're still barely scraping by. You're going to have a little money left over, especially if you manage it properly. But that's just the state of the world. Now, if I wanted to, I could move to a foreign country like Korea or Japan or there's a few other places and live like a king because $100 equals $1 million in some currency in other worlds and other countries. So you could live like a king in other countries better than you can live in your own country. Make that make sense. For the land of the free, yes, I VA 100%. I'm disabled veteran, like I said, and it, yeah, see, lots of retired folks are going to Vietnam because it's cheaper to live over there. I mean, and their money goes farther, which means you've got money left over to do what you want, to save, to invest, whatever you do. Whereas most of us over here are like, oh, there's a money making app that I can make money playing games. Okay, cool. 10 Luck Casino? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I just won $900 and it went straight to my bank account. Can you tell? That's what the commercials everywhere are for. I watch Tubi on a regular basis, and that's 90% of the fucking commercials is some money making app. Oh, you don't want to work? Well, here's an app that can change your life because all you got to do is play games. Yeah, yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, I don't know what the VA system is like over in those countries, but um, I hear you get treated better. Now, not everybody wants a takeover, you know, of all these Americans showing up in their country. You know, one problem: the Philippines have the only VA establishment. Yeah, see, that would be the issue. Now, like me, I do a lot of video appointments for my therapy and things like that. But medication gets mailed to me, like turning on your faucet water, which that's one thing I think they're about ready to change is stop throwing pills at the veterans and get down to the root problem with the veterans. Because there was one woman on Capitol Hill that was going through the whatever, and she breaks out all of her pills that she's supposed to take on a daily basis. And I think she had like 15 different pills. And she goes, I work in the healthcare industry, and this is what they send you on a regular basis. And they're like, wait a minute, this is what they want you to take on a daily basis, or how often do you take it? And she's like, I'm supposed to take these daily. She goes, but I know that I can't take this pill with this pill because it'll do this. If I take this pill with this pill, it'll do this. So she goes, I have to pick and choose which pills I take on a daily basis if I take the pills at all, you know. And most of the side effects for us men, unfortunately, is ED with our pills, which you can claim that, by the way, on something called the SMC, Special Monthly Compensation, if you're not getting that already, buddy. Just letting you know that if your pills are doing that to you as a secondary condition, you can claim that. So there you go. There's a little tidbit for you. SMC, Special Monthly Compensation. But so many other countries, you can live like a king. Okay, good. I mean, I'm glad you got it covered. And it's just crazy that you can't live that way here, you know? Because I could be doing this show from Good Morning Vietnam, and use that tagline every day. And it become, that was a fun show. Good Morning Vietnam. That was a good one, and I love that show. Too, I mean, I hate that Robin Williams is gone, and that he had so many issues going on that he masked with comedy, you know, and he's one of those that still needs to be here, just because he was comedic gold. But I understand that was masking a lot of pain as well, because I do that. A lot of my sarcasm and my comedy, that covers a lot of pain and issues that I deal with, you know, especially now. Like I said, with my son's passing, back in 2009, his birthday is coming up, and it's right before my girlfriend's birthday. So that it's a bittersweet moment, if you will, and it you can tell when you're masking something, and you just got to know, you just got to read people, especially those from the military or that have had trauma from the past. Not everybody had a great childhood. I'm sorry, not everybody had a little silver spoon in their mouth, and their parents coddled them, you know, and they did the soft, gentle parenting and all that good stuff. No, not everybody had that. Especially if you grew up in the 70s, the 80s, beginning of the 90s, because mid 90s to late 90s was when everything seemed to have changed, with parenting tips and all that good stuff. So, but don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. And Casey, I did not miss that step. We at the time we were at 27.2, so we were point 0.2 off of what you mentioned right there. We are now at 33,000 likes, puts us in the popular live category. You know, I feel battle fatigue, sir, and I was never in military combat. Life is a war zone anymore. No, I get that, and I honestly hate that for you, because you are going through things that nobody should have to go through, and I honestly hate that for you. I really do, and I know you've got your good days. I know you've got your bad days, and unfortunately, the bad days outweigh the good days sometimes. But you keep fighting. You keep getting up. You keep doing what you do, and that's an admirable trait, sir. And I'm not, there's no making light of any of that because it's true. You battle every day, and a lot of people don't know your battle. And that's okay. Not everybody's supposed to know your battle. Not everybody's supposed to know my battles. But I'm just here as a face that if you are having issues on the mental side and you need a sounding board, I'm here so that you can, you know, bounce those bounce it off. If you need to talk, my DM's open, you know. And that's why I give out the 988 number that you can text or the 1-800-273-8255 that you can call. But again, don't forget to like, share, and follow. If you do follow me, go up to the top of the profile, hit that little bell icon, and you'll know when I go live and or when I post new stuff. Like today after the show, I always post all of my clips, some of my clips from the show. And then I get into posting artwork and other things. The power of positivity is hero status. Wake up and conquer your head, brother. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you are in control of how your day goes. And I know a lot of people wake up and it's already shit. And that's how their day goes. They have a shitty day. It's all a mindset. Yeah, it was a complete fast hour. I mean, we're 55 minutes into the show, and well, it's just because of the chatting points. You know, when people come on the show that want to talk and want to banter back and forth over all kinds of stuff, especially the shitty rice burners. Evan, it's all good, man. And then we talk about all kinds of other things. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, Casey's going through a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about, and it's a little bit harder than that for him. Um, I'll send you some rice in the mail so you can put it in your tank. Okay. I'll send you some of that Mark and Digger moonshine so you can fill your tank. Well, hold on, that might blow up the car. I mean, that might not be a good idea. Um, that poor little aluminum head couldn't handle all that. Oh lordy. Now, meeting Mark and Digger was pretty cool though. I know it's all for show, the Moonshiner show and all that stuff, because you know they're letting all this happen, but yet the the task force hasn't picked them all up yet. While they're doing the show. Come on now. But no, I do have an autographed shirt by them back here in the back. They can see it over here on this side, but you guys can't see it because it's just off camera. Right there, that blue shirt back there, autographed by Mark and Digger back there. I got a lot of autographs on my walls. A lot of famous people. I got to change those paintings out. These are two of my paintings right there. If you guys are interested, so absolutely not. Oh man, that's going to be one of the longest running conspiracy theories ever. Just because all of a sudden we've lost all of the footage, we have none of that footage or documents to tell us how we got there. It was all lost in a fire or something. Come on now. And just look at the technology that we had in the 60s as opposed to what we have today. And we just now made a week-long trip to go around the moon, supposedly, again, here just recently. And then if the moon has no atmosphere, why was the flag doing this little wavy thing? Then let's take the boots. They show a boot print in the lunar soil on the moon, but yet it doesn't match the boot print that supposedly hit the moon when they show them side by side. My cell phone barely gets reception, yet they communicate. Yeah, they did a live call to the White House to Nixon at the time, I believe, right? And it was a clear line of communication. They were talking back and forth from the moon to the White House, and it was a clear conversation between the two, between the president and Neil Armstrong or whoever was on the phone. Yeah, make that make sense. So there's a lot of conspiracy with it. There's a lot of controversy with it. and different shadow castings and all that good stuff um, happening at the same time. And then the next step was, how did they get the lander off of the moon? How was it going to have enough thrust to get out of the gravity of the moon? Right, right. The Allen belt. And cell phones didn't exist until 1998. Well, was that? But what about the car phones that you had that big battery pack with you that you could carry and call people from that? That wasn't that before '98. Oh, you going to bed already? You gonna go get your breakfast of ketchup, Mister Roy? I mean, I'm glad to see you back. I'm glad you're gonna make everybody's life more wonderful, sir. I made a call in '76 on Elvis' big cell phone. See, yeah, that one of those big brick phones that you could carry around with you. So, that's another thing about Casey. Casey met Elvis for real because Casey's a musician. Yeah, yeah. And then they went to a little bit smaller because it was like an attaché case. It was about this tall and about this wide, and it had a shoulder strap that you could put in your car and all that stuff. So they started minimizing them at that point in time. Yeah, the car phones, yeah, they didn't last very long. That's why they went to the portable style. And so they had a form of cell phones, but they didn't call them cell phones at the time, up until a certain point. And then the cell phones started transitioning in the Nikon, no, Nokia. That's what it was. Brick phones and all that stuff started happening. And then text started happening, and then picture started happening, and now we're just lost because we're just like this on our phones all day long. And that's how the world is now. If someone loses their cell phone, they're lost. Little funny story about the girlfriend. I'm sitting here watching her. We were eating, and she was looking at her phone and all that stuff. She's scrolling, and then she starts doing this little number, feeling her pockets, looking around. She goes, "I guess I left my phone out in the truck." And I'm like, "The phone you're looking at right now?" And she was like, "Shut up. That's how tired I am." So it's just like one of those moments when people are on their phone talking to somebody and says, "Hey, I can't find my phone." And they're like, "Oh yeah, have you looked everywhere?" And they're like, "Yeah, I just can't find my phone anywhere. Not even the one that's in your hand that you're talking to me on. That type of thing." And oh lordy, life, man. If we don't have something in our hands, such as a cell phone or electronic device of some sort, people are lost. That's why I love being out in nature. I could care less if my cell phone's in my hand. Yeah, I'll take some pictures here and there just to remember, some of the moments of the trip and things like that. Just like when we're out crystal mining, you know, going out and finding crystals. Boom, boom, boom. And that's going to be the controversy for so long. And as now people are analyzing that controversy, you can see it more and more because the different angles. Was that poor guy left on the planet's surface of the moon while he was filming the takeoff? All that good stuff. And if so, what's he doing? Has he already started a colony up there and we just don't know about it because he's in a cave somewhere, that's fully oxygenated? Oh, lordy. there's so many controversies with that when we saw it, it was just like, before the controversy started hitting, it was just like, holy shit, that's awesome. We've landed on the moon. But now, with everything proof of evidence coming out, there's no way. I mean, a tinfoil lander didn't just evaporate on reentry whenever it can't even last in your oven. American muscle, buddy. American muscle. Oh, the best thing from that charades was the Moon Bar candy in 1969. I don't remember that candy, but um, because Toyota wasn't even around then. Did they have? See, I don't know. I don't remember that candy bar. Of course, I was born a little bit later. I was 1971 for me, so I don't think that candy bar was around when I was born. I mean, it might have been, but I wouldn't have even known about it because they started changing candies out in that time frame to different stuff. So, so yeah, I don't remember that at all. Um, that's something I'd have to look into just to check that out. And it was called. I'm gonna look up real fast. Um, Moon Bar Candy of '69. I'm gonna look that up. Boom, boom, boom. Of the '60s. Let's see. 1968, the Moon Bars cost around what? In '68? Are you fucking out of your mind? A $5 candy bar in the '60s? What the fuck? Was an ice cream bar on a stick covered in chocolate crunch. That treat was created in 1965 and came in six. Oh, good God. I didn't want to come all the way over here. What the fuck is that? Get the fuck out. Come on. Bum, bum, bum. So if that's the case, oh, wrong candy, the ice cream. Okay, well that's the only one that they're showing because the other thing that they're talking about is if you're thinking of iconic 1960s space themed treat, you're likely referring to Pillsbury space food sticks. And introduced in 1969 to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing. They were marked as astronaut energy bars and came in flavors like chocolate, peanut butter, and caramel. Is that the one? Okay. All right. So, yeah, I was gonna say if you had a candy bar that was $5 in 1960s, that's ridiculous. Because I think the price of candy bars in that era was like 25 cents to 75 cents or something like that. Maybe less than that. I don't remember. I wasn't born then yet. So, and then several of the 1960s candies often associated with moon branding or the era include moon pies, obviously, Milky Way, and Mars bars. So, But there is a place that you can go find some of those, I think. The Candy Warehouse. Candies from the 1960s. Let's go check it out. See what we can find. Oh, yeah. 1960s candies. From the Swedish Fish, Fruity Chews, to Chewy Sour Balls, to Twizzlers, to SB's Goldmine Bubble Gum, to SB's Cube Pops, SB's Cinnamon Toothpicks, Razzers, Sour Razzers. How did a tinfoil pop can? Exactly, that's what I just said a little bit ago. I'm trying to say. Oh, they've got like a ton of pages, but Casey, if you're gonna want to go check that out, you can go to Candy Warehouse, and they have candies from different eras. Um, they've got candy, party supplies, themes, holidays, occasions, toys, popcorn, snacks, soda, gifts, and under 10 and brands. What's in the toy section? What do we got in the toy section? Yeah, candy toys, pop or pet toys, candy fashion, and candy plushes. Brand. I'll look that up. Yeah, candywarehouse.com. But yeah, they've got a little bit of everything. And they sell it in bulk. They sell it in regular. They've got your Japanese candies as well. So there you go. There's your Japanese stuff for you, Evan. They got your Japanese candies. Some of those candies are pretty good from Japanese from Japan. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to save that just because. All right. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And yes. 42. We're not even close. We're at 36.7 thousand likes, and it is because TikTok likes to steal our views, steal our likes. They like to steal our soul, man. They like to steal our soul. But no, we are missing some likes because I know you've got us up there quite a bit, as well as other people that have joined in on the show. And I do appreciate each and everybody that stopped in and checked out the show. And Evan, I won't call you by your other name. It's a great name, though. It really is. If you hopefully, I'm pretty sure you've already followed, and I'll follow you back once the show ends, and after I've done a few posts here and there. But yeah, I'll be posting about the teardown from start to finish, how it looked whenever I got there in the beginning, and what it looks like now, and then what it's going to look like in the next few days. Whiny. I got you. I got you. All right, guys, that is it for today. I appreciate each and everybody that stopped in, checked out the channel, and bantered back and forth. And hopefully we'll see you on the next show, which is every other day. Excuse me, so the next day will be on, what, the 3rd? Because it is all on the odd days. So, I've been debating if I'm going to do something for the 4th of July. I don't know if we will or not. But you have a great day, too. Love you guys 100%. Don't forget to tell people that you do love them, because tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.